Slav. He's a nice guy. I don't care if he does or not. And so he took a class from this professor named Chernetsky, and it's called the Chernetsky effect. So you all know about tornadoes. Okay, tornadoes is a vortex, right? Something spinning. It draws stuff up in the air. Now, whirlpool, it's drawing stuff down into the ocean, right? Now, if you can get a vortex happening with electrons, now maybe you can draw electrons from the surrounding environment into, because there's electrons everywhere right now, all over the place, you know. And so if you can take those from out of nowhere and put them in your battery, you're going to charge your battery up. And so what you do is this flash that happens, this is how it was explained to me. So if you go to a really clear water, like in a swimming pool with the sun shining down or something, you put your hand under there and you shove your hand back in front, you'll create all these bubbles behind you. And ship propellers, boats, they call it cavitation. And it's these bubbles that are created from inside the water. You know, everything's underwater, but you create air bubbles because you're shoving it there, and you create these little, like behind a semi-truck, you know, and you hit by those whirlpools that throw your car off the road. So it's the same thing with electricity. Now, if you shove electricity through the air like a Tesla coil, you know, bzzz, like Frankenstein or something, when that goes through the air, if you get that, what you do is you get that gap to be just where it wants to be, and it'll like go through the gap, but it won't go back the way it came. It'll just keep going one way, and it works like a diode. A diode makes electricity go one way through the air. And so it'll draw electrons from the surrounding environment in little vortexes, and they cluster up, just like those bubbles when you put it through there. And so that's why you can get your battery to charge up by using these mechanical commutators. And the other way I do it is I use these things called splatter coils. I call them splatter coils. They're on my website. And what happens is this is north against north. And so all the stuff comes out the side. When I was in Dallas, this is a sick joke, but I was in Dallas, and I was talking about President Kennedy, and some guys say they got shot simultaneously at the same time in the head, and his head exploded all sideways like this. So I say that's the same thing happening here. It's a sideways thing like this. They didn't think it was funny in Dallas at all. So, anyways, what was I saying? Okay, so that, see now, this isn't just flux going in and out. This is flux that has been compressed and it has been stopped, and now it's like being kicked backwards. It's an amplified flux. And so I found out, this friend of mine was telling me about this, I can do something. So I was just checking this out, and I could, with just one of these little coils, these are solenoid coils, 110 volt solenoids. I got surplus. They're like runoff house power, and I think they're for irrigation things or something, I'm not sure what. But they have very, 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 very thin windings, very thin, thinner than hair. And each of them has a bunch of windings, and I put a steel core in there. And just holding one of these, and you hook it to an AC meter, I can get it to read 7 volts on a meter by sticking it on the sides of my motor because of this north-north collision. This is something that's also unique to this motor, and other people build motors, I always tell them, you got to try some splatter coils on there. There's other ways to collect this, but what you're doing, you're collecting flux that's normally wasted and just goes off into the air. Okay, now you take about 20 of these and you run them all in series. And now you'll have just enormous amount of volts, and it'll also be big, huge spikes happening too. And you can get it to go, bzz, you know, just bzz, you can see it going across what the output of these things. I'll have 4 clusters of 5, one here, one here, one here, and one here. You find the hot spots first with just one, and then you make your clusters and you mount them in there. Now, you get a little spark plug, like a lawnmower spark plug. You don't need to see that. And you run it through the gap, right? And then you adjust that gap. And like I was saying before, you want that gap to be a very finite distance, and you'll actually create the electricity that jumps through over that gap, and you can put it right back into your battery running the motor. Not only can you charge a battery from taking the recoil of the coils. Oh, I haven't talked about that yet. That's the main thing. But you can also, so you can charge a separate battery, and you can also keep the battery running your motors up in volts too. So there's like no question about it being over unity, that fact, that you can do both at the same time. So it's really a rotating battery charger. So now I think that's, oh, one more thing. Okay. Two more things. Okay, the generation. Okay, I'm going to go through the power generation systems. There's 4 ways this thing makes power as it runs. Okay, first of all was the splatter coils we were just talking about, what you can pick up from the stray flux that goes off to the sides. The second one, and this one has the most power actually, is you put a rectifier across the switch. Oh, thanks. And
Guess I'm fired. Guess I'm fired.
Oh no, just okay. I'll get more stuff here. Here, okay.
No, I don't need to. It's okay.
So here's some cores. I'll show you some cores. I'm going to give her something to do. She's getting bored.
No, I'm not.
So here's ferrite tubes. Here's what I do for my cores. You get a steel bolt, and well, you don't want to see these anyways. So, okay, where was I at? Okay. First. Oh, the second one. Okay, now this is the way you charge a battery. We're just doing this. It's great. You take a rectifier. A rectifier is this little thing right here. And I'll tell you what a rectifier is. It's just like the rock band, AC/DC. There's these green wires. They're AC. If any of you don't know, AC current's what's in your house. And if you look at it on a scope or what it looks like in a picture or something, it goes up and down like this. It's a wave, right? Everybody knows that. They teach you. That's what they teach you, but that's what it is. It's wave like this, AC. Now DC is what powers batteries. If you want to charge a battery, you're going to have to put DC into it. DC is straight. Okay, AC, these rectifiers convert AC power, the green leads, into DC, the red and the black. And so you have no polarity on the green one. It can go either way. But on the output of these, it's red and black, positive, negative, right? So what I found is this is a DC pulse motor. Like I was just saying, DC power is straight. But this is a pulse motor. So every time you cut that power, you have this enormous spike. See, so it would look like this on a scope, oscilloscope, where it shows you what electricity looks like. It would go down a little bit, a little sawtooth shape. Now that means it's drawing current. Now all of a sudden it's cut. Bang-o! And then you get this big spike that goes off the screen. And then it comes back down, and then it kind of goes away, and then there's a big space, and then it does it again on the next pulse. A little downward one, and then bang-o! And then it comes down, and a little like this. So what's happening is DC, but it's turning it into a poor man's version of AC, because now you have stuff going up and below. So you've created, so these motors take DC power and convert them into AC. Okay, now what's important about that is you put a rectifier now across whatever it is you're switching it with, which in this case happens to be a relay. And you put those AC leads across this. This took me years to figure out. And when I figured it out, people were saying, oh, now you know the secret, you know. And so now all you are going to know this now. So now I'm taking the AC that this motor creates, and now I put the AC leads across that switch, and now I got this DC, and this DC is going to contain those enormous spikes. You know, that energy that's normally lost in electric motors, electric cars, any electric motors, that when that kicks back, that spike, it ruins things or slows down because it creates a force that's opposite of the force of the electricity going in. They try to get rid of it, they short it out, or they try to get rid of it somehow. But on these motors, because of these north-north coils, and other reasons, you can extract it and you can put it into a second battery and charge it up with it. And it's a beautiful way to charge a battery because the battery takes these spikes, just spikes it in, and so you can really charge batteries up. So the first. So don't forget, there's this one. These are independent forms of electrical generation. First, there's the stray flux on the side you get with this. And now there's the rectified recoil is what I call it. We get from this, and this is a battery charging. So you can charge one battery. Now one more thing. Well, and then the third thing is obviously it's a motor, so there's the shaft. You know, so how much power do you have from the shaft? And then the fourth thing is these red areas right here. Now this guy in, where was he from? Mississippi called me up or something, and he's going, you know, this is a while ago. He says, you got a pretty good running motor, and you got north-north coils, and you got a lot of power and speed, but every time you have a north condition on that coil shoving things this way, you have just as strong a force on the back side of that coil pulling towards it. That's just as strong. As you turn on a coil, it pushes, it also pulls on the back side. And I wasn't doing anything with that. So I goes, oh yeah, you're right, you know, I'm wasting all that energy, and that's 50% of your magnetic force, right? So what you do is you make your core longer than it needs to be. See this big red core here? And now behind your magnet, your electromagnets being pulsed, you wind windings just all over there, just back and forth on these. And every time it's like a magneto. If anybody knows what, it's very much like a magneto effect. You can also call it linear induction. So every time you pulse this, it rings this core, and it creates AC current again. And it just depends on how many windings you want to fit on there, how much power you have, like maybe 500 feet. This motor over here has, you see these things here? See how big they are, the red things? They are really coils only that big that draw the electricity inside of those. But around those and behind them, I've made these big, huge pickup windings. And now, if I was to put a light bulb or some sort of load across this, that means it would be drawing more current, and you actually get more power out under load with these pickup windings. So that's something, too, that's also unique to this motor. So there's actually 4 electrical generation systems. If anybody gives me any crap, you know, I just skip to the next one, you know. Well, you don't think that works? Try this, you know. So anyways, okay, I think we should run it. Okay, so maybe we should. Here, I'll pass these around. Yeah. Okay, here's the splatter windings. Here's the I call this a roller commutator. A commutator is something that a motor turns on and off. And here's a motor coil with a bunch of pickup windings on it too. See, only the black part up here actually draws electricity. All the rest of it is a generator winding that's independent. See, this goes to the battery, and these are power out. So, and I don't know if you want to pass that around or something, whatever. So, what else do I got? I think that's about all the stuff to pass. Oh, I'll just show you this. Now, I'm going to sell, so I got enough for 6 kits, and so I'm going to sell them. They cost me about 150 in parts. I'm going to sell them for $300. If somebody wants me to like build them for them but not do the electrical windings, I'll do $700. And if somebody wants to buy a motor, it's like $1,500, and that's American, right? So it's a lot of money, and I don't really want to sell them that much or anything like that. I don't really care, but if anybody wants them, I got them, you know. And and I had all these pieces cut. I don't think I'll pass these around, but anyway, it's got all the pieces cut to this. This guy wants me to say I should have a money-back guarantee on this, but it's like, no way, you know. Yeah, forget that. And I encourage you all just to make your own, really. Just buy all the stuff and have fun, make your own design, because the basic thing is just like, you know, north coils, and anybody can email me. My email is Konehead with a K, Konehead@msn.com, MSN. Like Microsoft Network is what it is. And also Microsoft, you know, next time they have a monopoly, it'd be really good if they did something that worked, you know. Wouldn't that be great? That's a joke there, you know, a real joke. Okay, now we're going to, we're going to run this now. This is all exciting now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said something about credit cards possibly getting emailed.
Oh.
What about all the equipment, the musical equipment?
Oh, that doesn't matter. No, it won't.
It's not going to affect credit card either.
No. In fact, I'm in a band too, and we take our electric guitars while it's going, and we go like this. It's really fun. And you can get all, because it's pulsating magnetic field, you know. And but when we use this big magnet, that's what I'm worried about. This thing alone, this is really small power. Oh, another thing, when you become over unity, the power increase is exponential. It's like a scary thing. This is how you get into time travel if you want to get into that. But so what happens is once you get over that hump, there's nothing holding you back, right? So let's say you're running on 10 watts. Just say you're running on 10 watts, and let's say let's put another battery or something, and we make it 10 watts more. That doesn't mean you get 10 watts more if you're in the overunity condition. That means you get 10 times 10, you get 100 more. So you can imagine some of these things are running on 6,000 volts or something. So you can imagine it only take a few stages before you're up in the millions of volts coming off of these things because it's exponential. So that's another reason. Keep your battery levels low, like 12. But nothing's going to break right now around here. Yeah, I know. Yeah. But when we get into these neodymiums, it's really incredible. Neodymiums, they're these really powerful magnets. I mean, really, they'll break your fingers, you know, if you're not careful with them. And so we got one back here way in the corner, so it won't hurt anything. Now, when we do that, maybe we'll move things over just in case. But this guy did come up to me and say his hotel card didn't work when I did this thing in Dallas. What? Yeah, I know. That's not necessarily like this motor did it. But don't worry, look at me, you know. I knew that would get a laugh. So there's nothing wrong. I've been around it. Okay, we're going to run this. Okay, so now, just so you don't think I'm a scammer or something, we're going to look at the volts on this thing right now and show you what it says. Oh, yeah. Okay, so what's it say there? So it's 13.03, okay? That's pretty charged up battery. This is a real neat Optima battery too. It doesn't have any lead. It's a really cool one. So we're going to call this the motor battery. The red one, this one is running the motor. This one is drawing this is where the electricity is being drawn from, is what's stored in this battery, okay? So nobody can go wrong with that. So now I have this hooked up. Yes, it goes. Sometimes things are all screwed up. Okay, now see how fast it's going? It's not bad at all. Now, this is probably dropped down a little bit because it's kind of like brings it down when it's running. So I would predict it's going to be like 13.01, I predict. I don't know, though, what it is now. Oh, 12.96. So it brought it down. Batteries are kind of a weird thing. Now, if you let a battery sit for a while, it'll go right back up to where it came. So anyway, so this is 12.95. It's going to kind of like cut the surface voltage, kind of let it drop for a while. I'll just leave these leads on here. Okay, so that's running the motor now. Now, I get a second battery here. Okay, now everybody watch. We're going to show you what the volts are on this battery, so nobody thinks I'm ripping you off. And now, this says 12.61, so this is kind of a low battery. Now, watch this. This is what I was talking about. I have a little rectifier you get at Radio Shack. It's a 3 amp 50 volt, if anybody wants to know. This is for 12 volt. If you step up the voltage, so, fuck, sorry. So, we're running on 12, but if I put 24 volts or 36 volts, I'm going to have a different size rectifier, right? Because I'll probably blow it up. Okay, so everybody see these green? Go to right here on the switch. You put it across the switch. That takes all that spike. Right now, that spike is actually slowing this motor down a little bit. Now we're going to charge this battery over here. Here's red and black. There, see? So, and now what was that before? 12.96? No, that was 12.61. 12.61 on this one. Okay, yeah, hear it speed up? Yeah. It speeds up because now and it blows cold air. It never makes any hot air. It's really amazing. So, so what's happened is that back force that I'm always talking about, this is actually a backwards generator. You could describe it as. It puts energy into coil, you cut the coil, it comes back. Okay, now what's happening before we put these on here is that back force is actually colliding with the force going into the motor. And it was slowing it down before. It was creating a back EMF force, which is what all motor designers always want to design out of their motors and stuff. But it's because they're all stupid. Because what you want to do, if you read any books, conventional electric motors, they attract. they attract that rotor. It's always in attraction mode, attract, attract, attract. Now this thing is, and it creates a transformer effect. What a transformer is a winding here, you know, and this one induces current. You can put it in here, it comes out here, you know. So it creates a transformer effect, and it kind of locks it up. And then when you cut it, it makes this horrible force that goes backwards to everything. It bogs your motor down. And that's because of the stupid way they design motors right now. Now when you have this colliding north against north, you don't get any transformer effect. It's always hitting away both ways. It'll never go like this. It's always away. You don't get that. And you also get that compression and then the release, just like a pogo stick. Compress it down, then bounce way up high. So this makes a lot more voltage, like a German or something on his textbook. You know, he'll go, oh yeah, well your coil should only make so much in back EMF, you know. But now what happens when you collide a coil against a coil, matching coils with colliding fields? You don't get anything they have in the textbooks. They don't even have it in the textbooks. So that is all going into here. Okay, now, here, excuse me. Oh yeah, okay, now remember this was 12.61, right? So now it's 0. What's,
you've got to put these on.
okay.
I can take these off now.
Oh yeah, here. Here, you can
Keep them on?
just clip them on.
Okay.
We should get a battery terminal on that other one. Here. Then you can have something to clip on it. Yeah. Okay. Now watch how it speeds up when she puts this red one on there. See, it goes up quite a bit. Now also now that it's been sped up, now your timing is going to be different, just like a car. In fact, this motor at low speeds, it won't even run at the timing you need for at high speed. So you got to have adjustable timing. So now I'm going to adjust this plate a little. So I'm slowing it down. You want to find the sweet spot. Right there. I don't know. That's pretty good there. So you can really you really fool with these things to get them to go right, to find something's going on here. Okay, trying to find the best. That sounds good right there. You really want to adjust that with some meters. So like you look at your current going in and you adjust it. It's not necessarily what sounds the best or looks the best or is the fastest. You want to see the exact timing that makes your lowest draw into it at the same time or the biggest kick out. But right now I'm just doing it by sound. Okay, so that was 12.61. So we've been charging it for like 5 minutes or something. So it's probably about 12.65 now. It's gone up. Now you red, yeah, and black. So what does it say? 12.67. It's going up. It's going to always go up. 6.8. So that's, you know, that's not that much. It's only gone up, you know, a fraction of a volt. But over an hour or so, you know, this is going to be way up. So right now I'm running off this one and I'm charging this one. This alone makes the motor way better than any other motor because you're charging a battery. Now obviously all you'd have to do, if you can charge this one faster than this, then all you got to do is after like a half hour or something, you switch batteries. Now you run off this battery and charge up this battery. After another half hour, you switch batteries. You rock batteries. And then you can have it running forever in your closet or something. And it would never go down. It just rocked the batteries. And you can charge up more batteries. You could have all these pickup windings I was talking about to go over here. Now it's taken off pretty good. Yeah, that's sounding pretty good now. So also these pickup windings here, you can wrap all these windings here, a big old blob of windings. Run that into another battery. First you rectify it. It's AC coming out. Put it through a rectifier, charge another battery. Put another battery over here, pickup windings, charge that. Put splatter coils on it, charge this, then maybe put a generator on the shaft. So there'd be like, what, 6 batteries charging up. Plus you can keep the one battery running the thing from not ever going down in volts by using those splatter coils, by running that high voltage spark back into the battery. So it's a pretty good contraption, really. And you can, so rotating, and remember, yeah, it's going to ruin the world. So, yeah. And, okay, we're going to have some fun now. We'll do the Neodymiums. Okay. I got another one, but I don't know where it is. We were going to do 2 here. She's the expert at this. Okay, you want to always hold these really tight, just and then wrap it in a rag, and so it won't fly away, you know. So that's what she's doing. Now watch what she can do with this thing. I'll take a break. I just discovered this like a couple days ago over at this guy's house. Oh yeah, hey, you want to try something? I better not do that. Okay, there, here it go now. Listen to that baby. And yeah, and I think this is just something new because I've never really wanted to use these because they're dangerous or something. I've always wanted to make this simple, but they're fun, so I just got one. And you know, but I think what's happening here, okay, the rotor's going this way. This is all theory. Listen to that. It's amazing. And you could, yeah, that's what you're thinking. You can have this as a controller. You could have it just kind of move a little bit with your foot pedal or something like that. And it's the position is like within a millimeter, you know. You have to be really precise when you find the position. We can maybe have people come up and try this for themselves if you want, if you have to be careful about it. Just make sure you get a good grip on there. And you can actually just make it break. See what she's doing now? Because it's all of a sudden it's doing something wrong. But here's what I think is happening is that field's going around like a weed whacker, you know, in a certain direction. Listen to that. Oh yeah, a flywheel would make a... Yeah. Yeah, I know, just like, because I just saw his motor, yeah. Okay, he's talking about what he was just saying is what you do is you take these huge, this is what this guy around here does, I'm not supposed to say his name, right? And so he takes these huge magnets, he puts like 12 of them in a flywheel, like, you know, and, you know, like every number of the clock, and he puts them around there, and then he takes, that's an